All right. So, anyone else out there, a total AI nerd, like seriously geeking out over this stuff? Well, buckle up because today we are going deep. We're talking about AI that can watch videos and actually understand what's going on. Not just, spotting objects like, oh, there's a cat, there's a car, but actually getting the plot, the meaning, the whole shebang. Like, imagine asking your phone to explain the latest viral video and it actually nails it. That's the dream, right? That's what these super smart researchers are working on. And the paper we're diving into today is called Get Ready for It: Video Panda Parameter Efficient Alignment for Encoder-Free Video Language Models. Yeah, I know, it's a mouthful, but trust me, the ideas in here are mind-blowing. And to break it all down, we have our resident AI expert with us. They basically live and breathe this stuff, so if anyone can make sense of it, it's them. So before we get lost in the technical jargon, can you give us the big picture? What's the problem that Video Panda is trying to solve?
Okay, so the big picture is this. AI is getting ridiculously good at understanding images and videos, right? But there's a catch. Most of these current AI models are like huge EE. They take up tons of computing power, tons of memory. They're resource hogs, basically. They rely on these massive pre-trained encoders, which are like giant databases of visual information. But the problem is these databases are so big that it's like trying to run the latest video game on I don't know, a 10-year-old computer. It just can't handle it. And that's a big bottleneck for making AI more accessible, more powerful.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. So that's the problem. So how does Video Panda come in? What's the breakthrough here?
Well, the really cool thing about Video Panda is that it's what we call encoder free. It basically says, see ya later to those bulky pre-trained models, and uses a much more efficient approach. And this approach is called a spatiotemporal alignment block, or STAB for short.
Stab. I love it. Okay, so what does Stab actually do? How does it help the AI understand videos without those massive databases?
So imagine you could give the AI a superpower, right? Like the ability to see how things are moving and changing in a video, not just what's in each still frame. That's basically what STAB does. It has this component called local spatiotemporal encoding, or LSTE, which allows it to track motion and changes over time.
Whoa, okay, that's wild. It's like giving the AI a sixth sense for movement. But how does it actually work? Does it like slow things down by analyzing every tiny detail?
No, not at all. This is where it gets really clever. STAB also uses this technique called spatial downsampling, so it can actually focus on the most important visual information and filter out the noise. It's kind of like how our brains work. We don't pay attention to everything in our field of vision, just the stuff that matters.
So it's like the AI is learning to prioritize just like we do. That's super impressive.
Yeah, it is. And there's one more key piece to this. Stave actually operates on two levels of context. So it analyzes individual frames to pick out details, but it also keeps track of the overall story of the video, the big picture. Think of it like watching a movie with two sets of eyes, one for the details and one for the overall plot.
Oh, wow. Okay. My mind is officially blown. So it's not just seeing the individual frames, it's actually connecting them, understanding the flow, just like we do.
That's amazing.
But how does it compare to those resource-heavy models we were talking about? Can it actually keep up in terms of accuracy?
That's what's so crazy it does. Video Panda performs just as well as those bigger models, and in some cases even better. And the best part, it does it using way fewer resources, which means it can process videos much faster.
So you're telling me this little stab thing can do the work of those giant AI models, but using like way less power. That's huge. Imagine if our phones could understand videos like that. Talk about a game changer. And that kind of efficiency could really open up AI to so many more people, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And that's just the beginning. The potential applications are mind-boggling. We could be talking about analyzing security footage in real time, creating personalized educational videos, even giving robots a much better understanding of their environment.
Okay, I am definitely intrigued. But before we get too carried away with the possibilities, let's delve into those performance results a bit more. What exactly did they test Video Panda on?
So they basically put Video Panda through its paces on these, standard tests for video understanding AI. Things like MSVD-QA, MSRVTT-QA, TGIF-QA, essentially sets of videos with questions about what's happening. Kind of like the AI equivalent of those reading comprehension quizzes we all took in school, right?
Oh, interesting. So it's not just about, identifying objects. It's about actually understanding the actions, the relationships, maybe even some of the subtext, right?
Exactly. And you know what? Video Panda aced those tests. Like it really did well. On one of them, it scored a 64.7% accuracy, which is right up there with some of the much larger models. And on the others, it actually outperformed those resource-heavy giants, sometimes by like a significant margin.
That's incredible. It's like this tiny little AI is running circles around these big lumbering models. But you mentioned earlier these fine-grained video understanding scores. How do you even measure something like understanding?
That's a great question. It's not just about getting a simple yes or no answer right, you
Mm.
know? They looked at how well Video Panda grasped the nuances of the video. Things like, did it pick up on important details? Could it follow the timeline of events? Did its answers make sense in the overall context of the video?
So it's like they're grading the AI's essay, not just checking if the multiple choice answers are correct.
Precisely. And in those areas, context, temporal reasoning, even just getting the basic facts right, Video Panda really, shown. Especially considering it was only using 8 frames per video, compared to like 100 for some of those other models.
Wait, only 8 frames. It's like it's speed reading the video and still getting all the key points. That's amazing, that efficiency.
It is, and it all goes back to, what we were talking about with the stabs design. By focusing on motion and change and filtering out all that irrelevant information, Video Panda can, extract meaning way more efficiently.
Okay, you've convinced me. This efficiency thing is a total game changer. But just to put it in perspective, can you remind us how much smaller Video Panda is compared to those other models?
Sure, so Video Panda's visual component uses a mere 45 million parameters. Now that might sound like a lot, but for comparison, Video ChatGPT uses 307 million, and Video Lave, a whopping 425 million.
Whoa, that's like comparing a bicycle to a jumbo jet. No wonder Video Panda can process video so much faster. You mentioned it was like 4 times faster than Video ChatGPT, right?
That's right, just 41 milliseconds per video. And, to really test their design choices, the researchers did what's called an ablation study, where they basically removed different parts of Video Panda just to see what would happen.
Ooh, okay, I'm all ears. What did they learn from, like, messing around under the hood, so to speak?
Well, one big takeaway was that spatial structure, meaning like the layout of objects in each frame, that's super crucial. When they took away that information, the AI's performance tanked. It's a kind of like taking away our peripheral vision. Suddenly, we can't make sense of the whole scene.
So it's not just about recognizing individual objects, it's about understanding how they relate to each other in space.
Exactly. And the same goes for time. When they removed either the part of Stab that focuses on individual frames or the part that looks at the overall video, the AI started making mistakes. It would misinterpret a boat on water as a car on a road because it wasn't considering the broader context.
So it needs both the micro and the macro view to really get it.
Right. And that's one of the things that's so exciting about this research. It's not just about building bigger, more complex AI models. It's about finding these elegant solutions that actually mimic how we understand the world.
I love that. It's like they're teaching the AI to think like a human, but in a way that's also incredibly efficient. But let's be realistic. Every approach has limitations, right? So, what are some of the things that Video Panda still struggles with?
Well, right now it's mainly designed for shorter clips. So analyzing a 2-hour movie, still a bit of a challenge. It's like the AI has a limited attention span. And while it's great at understanding actions and basic narratives, it's not yet able to grasp things like emotions or predict what might happen next.
So no AI film critics just yet?
Not quite,
Mm.
but those are definitely areas where future research is heading. Imagine AI that could not only understand the plot of a movie, but also the emotional undercurrents, the symbolism, the director's intent.
Okay, now that would be truly mind-blowing. It would be like having an AI that could actually appreciate art in the same way we do.
Exactly. And while we're not there yet, research like Video Panda is paving the way for a future where AI is less about brute force computation and more about elegant human-like understanding.
I love that vision. But let's bring it back down to earth for a moment. What are the immediate implications of this research? What can we expect to see in the near future thanks to Video Panda?
Well, I think one of the most immediate things we could see is a change in how we interact with video, on a daily basis. Those times when you're scrolling through social media and you see an interesting video, but you don't have time to actually watch the whole thing. Imagine being able to ask your phone, hey, what's the gist of this video? And getting a quick, accurate summary.
Oh, that would be awesome. It's like having your own little AI assistant that can sort through all that endless video content and tell you what's worth watching.
Exactly. And think about, beyond just personal use, the implications for things like education, security, healthcare. Teachers could create personalized video lessons for each student. Security systems could automatically spot suspicious activity.
Yeah, those are some seriously powerful applications. It sounds like this tech could have a really positive impact. but I also can't help but think about, the potential downsides too. What about the possibility of AI being used to like manipulate or misinterpret video content?
That's a really good point, and it's something that, researchers and policymakers are definitely thinking about. Like with any powerful technology, there's always that risk of misuse. But I think by understanding how these AI systems work and by developing ethical guidelines, we can hopefully mitigate those risks.
Yeah, I hope so. It's definitely both exciting and a little bit scary to think about the power of AI. That's for sure. But getting back to Video Panda for a second, we've been talking a lot about its ability to understand these like shorter clips, but we also touched on the idea of AI being able to grasp, the complexities of a full-length film. What are some of the challenges in getting there? What kind of breakthroughs do we need?
Well, movies are complicated. It's not just about following the plot. There's dialogue, music, the way it's filmed, the acting. All these things work together to create the experience.
Right.
Right.
So for AI to really get film, it wouldn't be enough to just understand the sequence of events. It would need to understand human emotion, the artistry of filmmaking, all of that.
Exactly. It would
Okay.
need to analyze the film on all these different levels, just like a human critic would. And that's where things get really tricky for AI.
Yeah, I can imagine. Are there any like specific research areas that you think are promising for tackling those challenges?
One area I'm really excited about is multimodal learning. This is where AI systems are trained on like multiple types of data at the same time. So instead of just analyzing the video, the AI could also be processing the audio, the script, even reviews and critiques.
So it's like giving the AI all the information that a human would have access to when watching a movie.
Exactly. And by integrating all that information, the AI could potentially have a much deeper understanding of the film.
That's fascinating. And what about like the emotional side of things? Could we realistically expect AI to ever understand human emotions in the way that we do?
That's a big question. I mean, it's something that philosophers and scientists have been debating for ages. But from an AI perspective, we are making some pretty interesting progress. Imagine AI systems that can analyze facial expressions, body language, even things like heart rate and skin conductivity. By learning to recognize those patterns, AI could start to understand not just what emotions people are feeling, but also why.
Wow, that's almost like mind reading. But I guess if AI can learn to understand those subtle cues, those things we do without even thinking, maybe it could start to get the emotional impact of a film.
It's definitely a possibility. And who knows, maybe someday we'll even have AI systems that can create films, not just understand them. Imagine an AI director crafting stories that really resonate with human emotions.
Okay, now you're really making me excited about the future of AI. It sounds like we're on the verge of some truly mind-blowing stuff. But unfortunately, our time is up for today. Thank you so much for taking us on this incredible deep dive into the world of Video Panda and beyond.
It's been my pleasure. Always exciting to talk about these cutting-edge advancements and think about what the future holds.
And to our listeners, thank you for joining us on this deep dive into AI and video understanding. If you're curious to learn more, we'll link to the full research paper in the show notes. And as always, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep asking those big questions. Until next time.
I think, we could see Video Panda changing how we use video every day. Like imagine you're scrolling tons of videos, but no time to watch. What if you could just ask your phone, what's this about? And get a quick summary.
Oh, that would be so handy. Like a little AI buddy to filter through all that video overload.
Exactly. And it goes beyond just us. Think education, security, teachers making custom video lessons, security systems that flag anything suspicious instantly.
Wow, those are some seriously impactful uses. But, got to think about the downsides too. Could someone use AI to like twist the meaning of a video or just straight up fake stuff?
Oh, yeah, for sure. That's a huge concern.
Yeah.
It's something researchers and, the folks making policy are working on. Any tech this powerful, there's going to be people trying to abuse it. But I think by understanding how it works, setting ethical rules, we can hopefully keep it in check.
Fingers crossed. It's exciting, but a little unnerving, this whole AI thing. But back to Video Panda. We talked about it understanding short clips, but what about like a whole movie? That seems way more complex, right? What hurdles do we need to clear to get there?
Movies, they're not just about the plot, there's layers. The dialogue, the music, how it's shot, the actors, it all builds the experience.
So AI can't just follow the story beats. It needs to get the emotion, the art of it all.
Exactly. It'd have to analyze on multiple levels, like a film critic. That's where AI really struggles right now.
I bet any research areas showing promise for cracking that code.
One that's really cool is multimodal learning. It's training AI on several data types at once. So not just the video, but the audio, script, even reviews.
So, like, giving AI all the info a human would have watching a movie.
Exactly. Combining all that, maybe AI can really get the film.
Fascinating. And the emotional side. Can AI ever understand that the way we do?
Oh man, that's the million-dollar question.
Hmm.
Scientists, philosophers, everyone's pondering that. But in AI, we're making progress. Think about systems that can analyze faces, body language, even like heart rate, sweat those tiny signals. If AI learns those patterns, maybe it can tell not just what we feel, but why.
Whoa, that's borderline mind reading. But if AI can pick up on those cues we give off, then maybe, just maybe, it could grasp the emotional punch of a film.
It's possible. And who knows, someday AI might not just watch movies, but make them. Imagine an AI director making stories that really hit us in the
Now
feels.
that's a future I want to see. Sounds like we're on the edge of some huge breakthroughs. But sadly, gotta wrap up. Thank you so much for this awesome deep dive into Video Panda and beyond.
My pleasure. It's always a blast talking about this stuff. The possibilities are endless.
And to everyone listening, thanks for joining us. If you're hooked, check out the full research paper. We'll link it. Keep exploring, keep learning, and keep asking those big questions. Until next time.